You can start, Sumit.
ওকে, অন করেছেন তো?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ।
ওকে, so wherever you find target variable has some limited values, then you can apply classification. And if you see target variable is containing a value like you can't relate to, okay, means there is no pattern of those values. So obviously you have to apply regression. Like I'm going to share my screen. Is it visible? Like this data set, this is diabetes data set. So here this outcome is my target variable. Actually I got to know from the data description that this would be my target variable. So I had to understand the data set first. Then I came to the conclusion that this could be my target variable. So my target variable now, I can see that it is having zeros and ones. Okay, zeros and ones. So no value can occur other than this. All right, no value can occur other than this. So that is why this is a classification problem. Whereas in the car price prediction data set or petrol consumption car price, let's suppose, you had to predict the selling price, correct? The selling price, you can observe the values. There is no pattern. They can be anything. It can be anything, correct? See, the selling price can be anything. That is why this is called continuous. Means there is no limit, no lower limit, no upper limit. All right. In the classification data set, we have some limit that it cannot go further one and it cannot go less than one, less than zero. Let's see some data pre-processing. Import numpy as np and import pandas as pd. Import dot lib So df equal to pd dot read underscore csv or diabetes dot csv. Let's confirm it. Yes. So if outcome is my target variable, then I need to check. I need to first confirm whether this outcome is having only two classes or not. Because these values are only zeros and ones, so that is why we can call them as classes. Okay, like one class, zero class, one class, like this. So df dot outcome, I need to check how many unique values are there in the outcome column. Unique. Yes, I can see there are only one class. Hello, hello. Am I
Yes,
audible?
sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry, my internet connection is little unstable. Okay, fine. Now we will see something called logistic regression. This is one algorithm from classification, machine learning classification. So classification, you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So classification techniques are an essential part of machine learning and data mining applications. Approximately 70% of problems in data science are classification problems. There are lots of classification problems that are available, but the logistic regression is common and is useful regression method for solving binary classification problem. So in real world scenario, most of the cases you will find as classification problem. Like your data set would look like this. Okay. All, I mean, the important part is the target variable. First of all, you need to find the target variable and you need to see the type of the target variable, like whether it is continuous or it is discrete. Okay. And logistic regression is very common algorithm from classification. for any binary classification problem, you can easily apply logistic regression. Another category of classification is multinomial classification, which handles the issues where multiple classes are present in the target variable. So that can be more than two classes also. Okay, like here, zeros and ones are here. Maybe 0, 1, 2. You may receive 0, 1, 2 or 1, 2, 3 like this. Okay, so that would be called multi-class classification problem or multinomial classification problem. Just write down somewhere. If you have only two classes present in the target variable, then it would be called binary classification problem. If you have more than two classes present in your target variable, that would be called multinomial classification problem or multi-class classification problem. Multinomial or multi-class.
Okay, sir.
Logistic regression can be used for various classification problems such as spam detection, diabetes prediction. If a given customer will purchase a particular product or will they churn another competitor, means whether the customer will buy that particular product or will the customer go to another shop, whether the user will click on a given advertisement link or not, and many more examples are in the bucket. Like see, everywhere you're having only two options, right? Spam detection, whether it is spam or not. In Gmail, whether it is spam or not. Diabetes prediction, whether the person is having diabetes or not, right? Whether the person will buy the product or not, like this. So logistic regression is one of the most simple and commonly used machine learning algorithms for two-class classification. Obviously, binary means there are only two classes, right? Need not be need not be zeros and one. Okay, it is need not be zeros and ones only. Maybe true, false. Maybe male, female. Okay, maybe yes, no, like that, or maybe one and two. But everywhere you can find only two classes. Obviously, logistic regression can handle more than two classes also. But mostly logistic regression is known for handling two-class classification problem. But you can apply logistic regression on multi-class classification problem. So it is easy to implement and can be used as the baseline for any binary classification problem. Its basic fundamental concepts are also constructive in deep learning. Logistic regression describes and estimates the relationship between one dependent binary variable and independent variables. Obviously, there need to be some relation between the target variable and the predictor variables. Otherwise, we cannot predict anything, right? So the mathematical intuition here, do you guys know the linear regression equation? This is the linear regression equation. Y equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 means multiple linear regression. Beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2 beta n xn means if you have n number of predictor variables, then the equation would be like this, where y is dependent variable and x1, x2, xn are explanatory variables. These are sometimes called explanatory variables, these predictor variables. Now, what a logistic regression does, it actually calculates some probability, and the probability would be calculated based on the sigmoid function, and this is the formula for sigmoid function. This is we are calculating probability. So p equal to 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus y. Please note down these things.
Done, sir.
Now we have y defined here. Logistic regression is sometimes called a linear classifier. Note it down. Logistic regression is also called linear classifier because it uses linear equation. So it will still use the linear regression equation here. So y is defined like this. We can put this one instead of y. Now linear regression versus logistic regression. Linear regression gives you a continuous output like I told you, but logistic regression provides a constant output. An example of the continuous output is house price and stock price. An example of the discrete output is predicting whether a patient has cancer or not, predicting whether the customer will churn or not. Okay. Linear regression is estimated using ordinary least squares method, while logistic regression is estimated using maximum likelihood estimation (MLE) approach. So this is the curve of sigmoid function. So it will produce either 0 or 1. This is the purpose of sigmoid function. Whereas if you apply linear regression, you can observe this line is actually exceeding the barrier of 1, right? It can be anything. And here also, it is actually exceeding the barrier of 0. Correct? But in logistic regression, it will get saturated here. All right. What sigmoid function does, the sigmoid function, also called logistic function, gives an S-shaped curve that can take any real valued number and map it into a value between 0 and 1. any value. By taking any value, it will produce either 0 or 1. If the curve goes to positive infinity, y predicted will be 1. And if the curve goes to negative infinity, y predicted will be 0. If the output of the sigmoid function is more than 0.5, so obviously we are going to create some probability here, correct? Some probability here we are going to create. Calculate some probability. And probability, I mean, not necessarily always be like zeros and ones. Most of the time you will face probability like some decimal points, like 0.7 or 0.4. So whichever data point is having output as more than 0.5, that would be classified as 1, and if it is having probability as 0. I mean, less than 0.5, then it would be considered as 0 class. So we can classify the outcome as 1 or yes if the output of the sigmoid function is more than 0.5. And if it is less than 0.5, we can classify it as 0 or no. The output cannot, for example, if the output is 0.75, we can say in terms of probability as there is a 75% chance that the patient will suffer from cancer. Okay. So obviously we can classify that patient as the patient has cancer. Okay, the patient has cancer. If let's suppose your data set represents having cancer as 1 and not having cancer as 0, then obviously with 75% of chance that patient will be classified as 1. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Types of logistic regression. Binary logistic regression. The target variable has only two possible outcomes, such as spam or not spam, cancer or no cancer, or zeros and ones. Multinomial logistic regression. The target variable has three or more nominal categories, such as predicting the type of wine. There are many types of wine. Or let's suppose predicting some color, predicting some handwritten digit. There can be more than two classes. Ordinal logistic regression. The target variable has three or more ordinal categories, such as restaurant or product rating from 1 to 5. Now, can someone tell me what is the difference between ordinal and nominal? Ordinal variable and nominal variable. Let's suppose the values. Ordinal values are nominal values.
Sir, ratio intervals.
Ratio interval.
Ordinal means preference giving order wise.
Ordinal means okay.
Yes.
Yes, order wise.
Yes.
Correct. And nominal means
Categorical.
both are categorical data. Means both are categorical type. Nominal means there is no order. That is the difference. Ordinal means, see, both are non-numeric values. Okay, non-numeric values means no number. Okay, other than number, something else. But ordinal means there is some order there, order or rank, something there, some precedence there. Okay. And nominal means simple. There is no order, there is no ranking, there is no precedent. Like nominal means, let's suppose you are doing MBA. Obviously, in your college or maybe some other college, they do have BTech, MBA, and all of the MCA also, right? And that would be called nominal. Ordinal means you have done, let's suppose you have done 10th, then 12th, then graduation, then you are doing master degree, correct? So 10th, 12th, let's suppose BBA or BTech, then MBA. So there is some order. Still they are names only, but there is some order in the background. Those are ordinal values. All right. So just open your editor. I have shared the data set, the diabetes data set. Please read it. I've shared through WhatsApp, as well as here in the chat box I have shared the link.
হ্যাঁ স্যার রিড করেছি।
Just one second, huh? I'll be there. Yes, everyone has done it.
ইয়েস স্যার, ডান স্যার।
So next thing, I have to check whether there is null value or not. So there are multiple ways to check it. First one is df.info. So from info I can see that all the columns are having exact 768 non-null values. Okay, no one not even one column is having less than that. So that means there is no null value. Still there is another way, df dot is null, to check whether there is null value or not. Is null dot sum. There is no null value. Alright. So no need to do missing value treatment or null value treatment. So similar to the regression problem, here also we have to create x and y. Now first I have to see what are the columns here, df dot columns. Alright, this outcome column is my target variable. That means it will fall under y. Now x means all the rest of the variables. So x equal to, I'm going to take numpy array. Within the numpy array, df dot ilog, taking consideration of all rows, comma, how many columns? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So that means 0 to 8. Remember in Python, for slicing, we have to mention upper limit more than what we require. Like one more than what we require. So 0 to 8 means 0 to 7. Or else we could have done like df dot drop. We could have dropped this column. With dropping this column, we could have taken all the rest of the columns in X. Either you do 0 to 8 or 0 to minus 1. What would happen? 0 to minus 1 means x dot shape. Still there are 8 columns. Okay. Same thing. 0 to minus 1 or 0 to 8. Minus 1 means I am excluding this last column. That's it. I'm taking all the rest of the columns. But let's go for conventional approach 0 to 8. Now why? See, I'm taking here capital X and small y. Okay. There is some reason behind it. Because small x means each and every data point from your dataset. Small x means that. And capital X means all your predictor variables combined. That is why you always create capital X and take small y. Y equal to sem np dot array of df dot ilog taking consideration of all the rows, comma, last column, 8 index, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8th position outcome column is there. Or rather, you could have done minus 1. Minus 1 means the last element, right? See, y is having zeros and ones. Let's check the shape of y. 768 only. That means this is one dimensional array. That is why it is showing only one argument. How many number of rows? Alright, x and y have been created. Now it's time to split them up. So there is a package called train test split, right? So x train, x test, then y train, y test equal to, always maintain this order, x train, then x test, y train, then y test. Train test split of x comma y. We are going to split the x and y, correct? So that is why we are mentioning x and y here. Now what should be the test size? Test size, let's take as 0.25. Alright. Random state equal to 0. Any number you can take, random state. Okay, my code has run. Now it's time to check x train. dot shape 576 8 x test dot shape 192 comma 8. So 576 plus 192 becomes 768. Y train, let's check the y test. Y test dot shape 192. Fine. This is how I confirmed whether my splitting was done correctly or not. Now it's time to create my model from sklearn dot linear underscore model import logistic regression. Let's see. Yes, has run correctly. Now it's time to create the model. Model equal to logistic regression. My model has been created. It's time to train our model. Means feed the data set into our model. So model dot fit. I'm going to use the training set. So I have X train and Y train. It's showing attribute error. All right. All right. Take one parameter while creating the model. Max iter equal to 500. Means that is, you are allowing your model to perform uh, this much iteration. Means you are allowing, what to say, you are permitting your model to go up to 500 iteration. It's your data set which actually, based on that data set, your model will decide how many iteration it is needed. Maybe less than 500, but 500 you have mentioned the upper limit. Model dot predict now. My training has been done. Model dot predict on X test. This is my prediction. So let's do one thing. Y pred equal to model dot predict on X test. So what happens? I'm actually taking X test from the test set so that I can match the Y pred with Y test. So Y test is my actual value and Y pred is my predicted value. So I can I can differentiate between them, whether there is some difference or they are same. So y test, see they are pretty much same, correct? This is my actual value 1, we predicted all as 1 as well. So 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, yes, all are correct. That means we must receive some good accuracy score. Now there is another thing, model dot predict proba of X test. Yes. Now, actually this matrix is being calculated at first. Then it is converted into ones and zeros. So what is happening for the first data point? Let's suppose I have this diabetes data set. This diabetes data set. So with all these values from the first rows, from the first row, with all these values, I got probability of 0 is 0.04 and probability of 1 is 0.95. So that means it has 95% chance of happening 1. So that is why the first observation of the first row has been classified as 1. Now next, it is having more probability in 0 than 1, right? Like 0 is having probability of 0.83, which is more than 0.5. That is why it is classified as 0. So that means, suppose this one, this row totally, this row totally has been classified as 0. In the next, again 0 is having more probability. Then here, fourth observation, this is having less probability in 0 and more probability in 1. See here, 1 is having probability which is more than 0.5. So sigmoid function converts it into 1. So it is classified as 1. Clear everyone?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now it's time to import the matrix. It is not matrix, it is matrix. Matrix means measurements. confusion matrix. So here how much ones we have and how much how many ones we have and how many zeros we have in y test. Let's print it out by using simple Python. Simple Python um, for I in y test. If I double equals to 1, then count 1 equals to count 1 plus 1. So I need this variable count 1 to be initialized. So count 1 equal to 0. Otherwise the program will show me error. So this count 1 variable is not defined. Elif I double equals to 0. If I double equals to 0, then count 0 equal to count 0 plus 1. So I need to initialize this variable again. Count 0 equal to 0. So out of the for loop, I need to print number of zeros. That means count 0 number of ones. Count 1. So number of zeros I'm having 130 and number of ones 62. So 118 and 12 becomes 130 and 26 and 36 becomes 62. Now you need to understand the confusion matrix. Please note it down. TT means true positive and FP means false positive. TN means true negative and FN means false negative. or sometimes you may observe like this, like true negative, false negative, true positive. But the both of the cases, these diagonal elements are true. Okay, and these non-diagonal elements are false. Done.
Yes, sir.
So here, true positive and true negative means my actual correct classification, okay. So these diagonal elements, that means 118 and 36 means 36, these two are my correct classification, and these like 12 and 26, these two are my wrong classification. So that means out of 130 zeros, I have correctly classified 118. Out of 62 ones, I have correctly classified 36. So 26 zeros, I have wrongly classified them as 1. And 12, 26 ones actually, yes. 26 ones, I have wrongly classified them as zeros. And 12 zeros, I have wrongly classified them as ones. This is the column of zeros, and this is the column of ones. This is correct classification of zeros, and this is wrong classification of zeros. This is correct classification of ones, this is wrong classification of ones. This is called confusion matrix. Now, next thing is classification report. Classification report. This is the report from your classification model. So here you can observe accuracy, you have 80% accuracy, okay, 0.80. Now what about precision, recall, these things? Let's see. There are 4 things like sensitivity or recall, specificity, precision and accuracy. So first thing, sensitivity or true positive rate is defined as the percentage of true positives predicted amongst all actual positives. So how many actual positives do we have here? Let's take zeros as positive. So actual positives we have 130 total. Now true positive we have 118. Correct? So out of 130, 118 are true positives. And what are false negatives? These are false negatives. These are actually positive, that means actually zeros, but we classified them as ones. So that means they are actually positive, but we classified them as negatives. That is why false negative. So the formula for this, sensitivity equal to true positive divided by true positive plus false negative. And if you want to convert the score into what we say percentage basis, then into 100. The sensitivity is also called recall. Next thing, specificity. Specificity is exactly opposite of sensitivity or recall. So specificity means true negative rate. So it's defined as the percentage of true negatives predicted amongst all actual negatives. So I have, let's suppose ones are negative. That means this is true negative, right? This is true negative
Yes, sir.
and false positive. So the formula is here, true negative divided by true negative plus false positive. Precision. Precision. Precision or positive predicted value is defined as the percentage of true positives predicted amongst all positives predicted. So percentage of true positives divided by true positive plus false positive. See, these two all we predicted them as positive, right? Be it true or false, We predicted them as positive, correct? So how much true positive we predicted amongst all predicted positives?
Okay, sir.
This is precision, and then last thing is accuracy. Accuracy is defined as the percentage of right classification. Is that percentage of true positives and true negatives detected by the model in the entire data. So the formula for this, percentage of true positive and true negative amongst true positive, false, true negative, false negative.
স্যার এই পিডিএফটা একটু ক্লাস শেষে শেয়ার করে দেবেন?
Okay, I'll share it. But the thing is, don't go for the other part of this PDF. Okay, it will make you confused. So
ওকে স্যার।
only this part is enough. Okay, this part. All right. So how much accuracy did you receive? Is 0.80. That means 80%. You can easily do like this: matrix dot accuracy score of white comma white text. Okay. So do you guys have the Haberman dataset? I think
নো
I
স্যার।
I think I provided it that dataset for visualization.
স্যার আরেকবার বলবেন নামটা?
Haberman survival dataset. Haberman, Haberman.
না স্যার, এটা দেওয়া হয়নি আমাদের।
Okay. All right. Okay. I have shared in WhatsApp. So you have one day. You just that data set does not have any column name. First of all, you have to make some column name there, then do the classification by using logistic regression.
Okay, sir.
Sir, can you share the program in the chat?
Getting recorded, right? I mean, yes, I can give you the notebook, but do you know how to open it?
Yes, sir. Yes. So actually, it's save some time, so that's why. Yes.
Yes, someone has forwarded. Yes, yes. So I forgot to. Sunit sir forward. I forgot to actually share it in the data analyst 4 group. Okay, I have shared.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Yep.
you, sir.
So let's see tomorrow. Okay. Just do the logistic regression classification and let's see how much accuracy you are receiving. Okay. Any doubt till now? Anyone? Any silly doubt? Means, be it illogical. Just ask me. Okay. You guys just practice this
Yes, sir.
and
চেষ্টা করি তারপরে
hmm, then let me know tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Okay. All right. I'm ending this session then today. Uh, we'll see then in the next class. We'll meet you.
ঠিক আছে, sir.
Okay. Bye. Have a good day.